is our third episode of the Cross-Cultural Conversations. Today we're talking to YusefWateef, who is currently in Sao Paulo, Brazil, correct? Can you hear me there?
Yeah, now I can. Sorry, okay. There was a bit of a lag. Repeat the last thing. Hold on, I think we just got up to speed.
All right, now it sounds like we're talking.
Gotcha.
Okay, so today we're talking to YusefWateef, who is currently in Sao Paulo, Brazil, correct?
Yeah, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
And I've looked through your LinkedIn profile, and you have done business in London, England, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Japan, Bangkok, Thailand, Shanghai, China, and now Sao Paulo, Brazil. You get around.
I get around. Well, I have a career that's totally the opposite of my last career. In the United States, my last career, I spent about 9 years as a financial professional dealing with mutual funds, financial vehicles. Now I get to live off my computer. I'm a writer, editor. For example, if anyone needs a website edited to university level English, if you have a paper to be written, I've done that for college students. If you have a book or a magazine or even a website article that you need edited into university level English, that's what I do. And for some students, for some clients, I coach them on English language, because a lot of my clients who are not native English speakers end up going on TED Talks, because a lot of my clients are CEOs, high-end executives who have to be as educated in their second language as they are in their first.
Mm-hmm. And that can be a challenge. I work with foreign business people also, and I found that the stumbling blocks are usually the simplest little things. What are some of the problems or obstacles that you have in dealing with foreigners trying to learn English for business?
English for business, what's the difficult one? The difficult one is this. When people come to you for English for business, they don't really catch on that business English and casual English, kind of like what they see in the movies, totally different. Totally different. They really don't catch that sometimes. They genuinely believe that the guy on television is correct, even though I'm saying no, the guy on television is speaking horrible English, awful English. We don't want to sound that way. And so once they get past that, and I show them, I show them epic speeches by people from, W.B. Du Bois or Marcus Garvey or Paul Robeson, his delivery, those are the things that I teach them as the standard.
Now, in all places that you've been, they're widely separate cultures. You've got Australia, you've got South America, you've got Asia, you've got a little time in Europe. What are some of the commonalities? How are the business cultures the same?
Everybody likes money. You laugh, but I say this to you. When they can see that perfecting English, I don't mean being good at English, but I mean perfecting their English directly puts them in a situation to do a few things. It puts them in a situation to do exactly what it is that they do now, but do it in another country. They say, oh, well, that directly relates to me getting more money. That alone is motivation for a lot of them.
Okay.
They see that and they just say, oh, now I understand.
Okay. Outside of business, what are some of the commonalities that you have seen as a foreigner, as a guest in different countries?
Despite what the news and politicians would tell you, the differences in people around the world, professionally and socially, aren't that different. Most people want to be paid a fair wage for a fair day's work and to be respected in their work environment.
Okay. What would you say, aside from the obvious things like language, what are some of the things that are most different between the different cultures that you've been in?
You and I met in, I believe, Shanghai, China, right?
Yes.
The difference in culture in Shanghai, China, and a place like Sao Paulo, Brazil, where I live now, is astronomical, as it would be from the United States. I think what we have to look at is Not everybody started the game the same day. There are different levels of communication, levels of technology, things that we take for granted in the United States that we thought would make us better and more efficient. They don't embrace here in Brazil. Here, your name is more important than anything they'll read about you on LinkedIn. It's more important than anything you're going to see in someone's profile online. If their name is good with people in their social and professional circle, um, you're as good as gold. Whereas in America, we rely really heavily on, well, what did his resume or his CV say? What did his LinkedIn say? And we don't put as much faith in, let me ask his references. I know in the United States, we've had tons of situations where people find out their references are complete nonsense and bogus.
Yeah. And there is, I guess, doing business here, I've noticed that we've moved heavily in the hiring process, especially over to algorithms and outsourced companies that are doing things strictly on the computer. So in Sao Paulo, it's still, here's my piece of paper, shake hands, or is it introduced friend of a friend, or?
Yeah, friend of a friend is, for better or for worse, the way to. But here's what I also learned working in the financial districts in the United States. It's not that different when you deal with high-end business in the United States. What someone else who is, when you are respected by men who are respected, it goes farther than anything else. Anything else. Period.
Okay. I guess that still holds true here once you get to past a certain level.
Yes.
For someone just coming into the country, if I were, for example, to go down to Brazil to do business, I've got no name. I don't have any reputation. I don't have, other than you, I've got friends of friends. How would you break into business? How would you start?
You would start, if you're starting from ground zero, do the work. Be the man that you claim to be. Be the person who's capable of doing the things that they say they're capable of. One of the things that has helped further my reputation and those of the men that I work with, if you're just who you claim to be, if you come there and you say, I can run this program to increase productivity in your company by 5%, it's okay if you say 4% and then amaze them. But what you can't do is say 5% and then do 3.
Okay.
Be who you are, no matter what you say. If you're just who you claim to be, you're going to win. You're going to win.
Okay. Of all the places that you've been, which one, I'll say, shocked you the most?
Ooh.
That was like, oh, hey, this is really different.
I would say when I lived in Tokyo, Japan, I lived in Tokyo for about 2 years.
Mhm.
And when I went to Tokyo, the difference with China is this. When you look at China, you know you're in a different country. But Japan can trick you into thinking they're more like you than they really are because it looks a lot like downtown anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you get to Japan and you find out very quickly, every social contrivance and convention that you know of is totally different. Not a little different, but totally different. It is wild.
I was only in Japan for a couple of days on a short vacation, and I'll have to agree that even when I saw it just as a visitor walking down the street, that strikes me. Um, Things like as I'm approaching a crosswalk, all the cars stop.
Yes.
What's wrong?
What city are you in now?
I'm near Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. Okay, because well, let me back up. Where were you born?
I was born near Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in a little town called Lodi. It's about 3,000 people.
Okay.
This is where I was born. I moved around the state and around the country, and then I was overseas for 6 years.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And I did a lot of traveling while I was in China, just around Southeast Asia, and I must say, little things like you're talking about actually make a big difference. Now, if there was one place that you haven't been to that you would like to go to, where would that be? And Why would you go there?
I have not been to Colombia yet. Got a lot of friends who have been there, lived there, going back and forth there. I haven't been there yet. I know it's a very different world. I'm just looking forward to seeing it.
Okay. Is there anywhere you continue?
Go ahead.
Is there anywhere you wouldn't go?
Any place where there's war.
Okay, I mean, that's sort of an obvious one, but I mean, is there any peaceful place that you just go, not interested?
I did Spain and London. In Europe, didn't really do it for me.
Okay.
Didn't really do it for me.
Why? Or was it just a feeling?
It was a feeling, but it was also, I think it was a little too on the nose. You could land in the middle of London, England, or Times Square, New York, or where else would I say? Los Angeles, and be in the same city because the cultures aren't that different. We've bled into each other so much. You're going to see the same restaurants. You're going to have the same. It's just going to be totally different. I mean, totally the same. That's the thing. And I know that they have, and I know I'm going to offend some of my friends from the UK, but our cultures have become so intertwined that I don't see enough. There's just too much overlap. There's way too much overlap.
So now, as you're working in Sao Paulo and you're working with business people, other than the everybody loves money, what are some aspects of business, international business, that people who haven't worked internationally before don't think about?
Have your paperwork correct. A lot of people in the United States who became successful, a lot of my successful friends, we came up in a guerrilla system, GEE guerrilla, meaning using subversive tactics, guerrilla marketing. That's fine, but you have to know the rules of the country you're in, because where we're from, maybe sticking a poster on a tree is not a big deal. You pull some of that bullshit in Tokyo and you might get body tackled because it's just not acceptable to deface something that's not yours. You have to know the rules where you are. Some countries are lenient on you doing business there, even if you're not registered in that country. Some countries, if you so much as sell a piece of bubblegum on the corner without the appropriate government paperwork, you could be wearing some silver bracelets. They literally may ship you out the next day because they have very strict laws. As a matter of fact, with one of my clients, I discussed protectionism quite a bit.
Okay, in what concept?
Well, protectionism is neither a good nor bad thing. It's one of those issues that pops up where, how do we adjust tariffs and pricing? And you understand we're dealing with this between the United States and China right now.
Yeah.
How do we adjust tariffs and pricing with regard to protecting our own businesses, but not coddling them so they don't grow or don't become competitive on the global scale? For example, the consequence for illegally bringing in electronics to sell in Brazil is quite high. I think whatever they catch you with, they confiscate it and charge you double the price and taxation. So they don't want you bringing in electronics because electronics have a disproportionately high cost here. For example, I had to have my MacBook Pro replaced. I use a MacBook Pro. My last one, I rode it hard and put it away wet for 7-8 years. It died a noble death. Decided to get a new one. I found out very quickly the only way I could possibly get that done is with one of my friends who did not have a computer buying me one, taking off all the wrappers and bringing it to me. Because they weren't bringing it to sell, but how do you tell someone at border, no, this is for my friend who's also an American, I'm not going to sell this in your country. Okay. So that's how we had to get around that. So I didn't break the letter of the law. I did not illegally bring anything from the United States to sell in Brazil. I had a friend in the United States bring it to me, another American, but we had to go through all that because I know people who have had that happen to. I mean, it really, it's not fun. Don't get caught. Don't get caught, buddy.
Understandable. What sort of, I've been talking to some students about this recently. What are some of the taboos that you've run across in the different cultures that took you by surprise?
Let me think. Food. I'm a food person. You know I'm a food person.
Oh yeah, I am a food person.
Here's the thing about food in Brazil. You don't touch your food. If you go to a restaurant, if you and I go out with some friends and we order appetizers, what we would call finger food,
Yeah.
no.
Oh.
You take a napkin, then you use the napkin to pick it up. Or you can use a toothpick to pick it up, but eating with your hands is the mark of a savage. You just don't do that.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yep.
And that's one of the strange things. I've tried to explain this to some Chinese people about we don't share food. You know, that.
Yeah, I remember that. In China, people will just reach into your plate and eat something.
Yeah, or even that, everything's in the center of the table. And
Yes.
you've got your chopsticks and you reach out and you grab it, a hot pot, everybody's digging into the hot pot.
Yeah.
And trying to explain to them that no, you don't do that.
Not here. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, not in the US. And then, so I would be in their position in Brazil because I go, oh, French fries, and grab them.
Yeah. You would have to use a fork. French fries are a fork. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what will happen. You're going to sit down at a table and you're going to pick up a napkin. And the napkin is going to feel really strange. You're going to say, how could this napkin be used for anything when it's so waxy? Then you realize it's not for wiping your face. It's waxy so that when you pick something up, the grease or the coating doesn't seep through to your fingers while you're eating.
Okay. I'll interject. Now, how did you find this out the first time?
The hard way, of course.
Okay.
Found out the hard way.
One of the things that I have learned, and it took me a while, was that whenever there's food around, I sit down and I wait and see what everybody else is doing first.
Okay.
And even then, I've made mistakes. Fortunately for me, most of the time it was, oh, no, we don't do that here. Oh, you're the foreigner.
Yeah.
Was it that way? In Brazil, are they forgiving, or is it?
Oh, they're totally forgiving. They just look at you as if you're a savage. I was like, why is everyone looking at me so strangely? And then it's like, oh, because I'm the only one eating with my fingers.
So taking a Brazilian to Texan barbecue would be a bad thing.
I would actually like to see how that works out.
What advice would you give to someone who is young, is stepping out of their country for the first time, and just going to explore a new country, whether it be halfway across the world or next door?
A couple of pieces of advice. If you're just going to go out on a holiday, have fun. But the one common piece of advice between people who go on holiday or become expats living abroad like you or I, start learning the language. Take something as simple as Duolingo. Do it for half an hour a day. But getting to a country and being able to read a menu, read a train schedule, tell a taxi driver where you're going, it's such a big difference. And you find people stranded. Let's say you get somewhere and you don't have any phone reception, or you're in the subway and you realize you're not sure where you're going and you can't use your phone because you're in the subway. Now you got to get off the subway, go all the way upstairs to get reception, find out you're in the wrong place, go back downstairs. I mean, yeah, it can get a little crazy. We actually have a question in our chat. He said something interesting. He said, "What about hamburgers?" And what I want to show him, there's a restaurant here called Osnir. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to show him on the screen. Let's see. Where is that image? I'm going to show him the answer to his questions, Eli. See, look at this. He said, "What about cheeseburgers?" Well, my friend, here is your answer. Mhm. That's how they come. You see how they're wrapped in
Okay.
a paper for you to hold?
Yep. Now, to be fair, I've seen that in some restaurants in the U.S.
Yeah, but here it's a
But
way we do things.
yeah. But again, in the U.S., you would probably pull it out of the wrapper and eat it.
Yes, you would. Yeah. Let me ask.
Hmm?
Let me see. Let's see if this works. There is Eli and Naima are here in the chat, and I just want to ask where they are. If you two could tell us, hey, where are you two in the chat? Let's see at E. At E. Where are you? Oh, okay. So Eli's in Jacksonville, Florida. So let's see. See, Naima, where are you? So what else did you really, does anybody else really want to test me on that they don't touch the food with their hands policy? Anybody else want a piece of that action? Oh, and while everybody's watching, I always want to make sure, you may not be as self-promoting as I am. Red Leaf Consulting. I'm going to put the link in here so everybody can see it.
Okay. And I'll do a little self-promotion here. Red Leaf Consulting is actually a collection of business professionals who are doing their own thing in their own businesses around the world. And we are sharing resources. So it's basically, if I come across something where I think a German is going to be able to help, I turn them over to YusefWateef. If they need to do some work with Chinese and they need to understand the Chinese culture, I'll send them to Cicely Pong. So we've got, currently me as an American, we've got a German living in China, we've got a Chinese woman living in China, we've got a Mexican living in China, and we have a Brit living in the UK. All of us have our own special areas of expertise, and we just sort of share our information. So it's a little bit, different. And, maybe at some point we'll bring Yusef into this and we'll get a Brazilian link going on.
Is this a recruiting call?
Yes, it's a really, really complicated cold call for recruiting. Now, you say you've got a chat here, but I'm not seeing a chat anywhere.
It's on our, if you look on the right-hand side, I'll send it to you in our personal. If you look on the right-hand side on our YouTube link, because I forgot this technology is new for you.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in our private chat. There you go. I don't know if you ever used it before, but Google Hangouts used to be integrated with YouTube. On the first of the month, talking about business, on the first of the month, they discontinued that. And all of a sudden, all those small, what were once fringe companies that supplied the same service, several of them are going to make a few $1 million this month, because everyone who uses that kind of technology because they left it so that if I want to do it by myself, I can, but they changed it so that I couldn't bring in other people. Now technology, and I want to be clear, StreamYard did not pay me for this, but StreamYard is a great service. I like them.
All right.
They've enabled us to do this.
I just got, this being new to me, I just got both of those going at once in my ears.
No. You want to go ahead and mute one of them. Mute the YouTube.
I did. It took me a while to get to it. All right. So I'm going to look over here and see what we've got going on here. All right. Okay, cool. So, I lost it. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. So anyway, I've asked most of the questions that I wanted to ask. Is there anything that you want to share before we finish up? And are there any questions from the
Sure.
gallery?
I want everybody to make sure they go to his website, go to redleafconsulting.us, check it out. The two things I say to everybody is I appreciate everybody watching. I don't care if you're watching this now or sometime in the future. Please, please, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe and share it. I don't care if you share this on, copy and paste the link at the top into Facebook, paste it into Twitter, paste it into your LinkedIn, paste it into your Twitter handle, paste it into your Tinder profile. That's awesome. Again, hey, these two guys are talking. What do you think about having a date where we could talk like them? But I don't have any kind of money agreement with Google or YouTube. So outside of my business as an editor, copy editor, proofreader, that's what I do. If anybody wants to catch me, you can always find me at YusefWateef at Gmail. Oh, I can't spell. .com. There you go.
All right.
So when are you going to come traveling again? And what do I need to do to get you down here and get some tanning done?
I would love to. Right now, however, I am basically working 3 jobs. I'm still teaching people in China, so I'm up at 4 a.m. To teach business professionals in China. And then I'm doing some regular work, and then at evenings and weekends, I am doing marketing for local companies. So getting away is a little bit difficult right now.
Well, hold on. Let me hit you with the sales pitch. 2 out of 3 of those jobs you could do on your laptop anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's the one where I have to show up from 8 to 4 that I can't.
But what if I told you in Brazil the cost of living was so low that you could come here, make less money, and still lead a better life?
I tell you that this beautiful house behind me is mine, and I've got a mortgage to pay.
Oh, I don't really have a counter argument for the mortgage card. That's like the ultimate ha.
And that was the thing. While I was in China, I was paying my mortgage here, and the first year, the first year that I was there, I got the standard crap pay and screwed over by the company.
That didn't happen to me. I had a good time.
Oh, my first year, I was the standard ignorant American walking in, and I learned pretty fast. I will say that between my first year in China and my last year in China, without saying any numbers, my pay increased 8-fold.
Okay.
So I moved my way up pretty quickly once I got in there. And at the end, I was paying my mortgage and, having a fine time and living good. But now I've come back, and at 50 years old, people are a little hesitant to hire.
Well, I would say a conversation we can have another day, and you're welcome to come into my chats and things like that. I want to tell you that we live in 2020 where your age doesn't matter when you work for yourself. I always tell people, of course I'm wearing a silly mustache, but you can wear a silly mustache when you earn all your own dollars. Now, and that's what I want to get across to you. If I can do anything, people pay me to do counseling for them because we're friends. I'll give you every bit of attention and resources that I have to get you situated into a situation where even if you did stay in the United States, you can live off your computer. You can even Airbnb your house. But if I can do anything for you, if I can do anything for you at all, let me know.
I'd be happy for any help. As long as, and this is the important thing, as long as that what I'm doing is something that is of value to you and I'm doing it the way that it needs to be done. That's one of the things that I try to talk to people about when they're doing international business. You can't do it your way. You've got to do it the way that is expected from your client.
Yes.
And at some point, the reason I'm doing things like this is to get the word out there and let people know what I do, and that hopefully at some point this is what I'm doing. And then I can come down to Sao Paulo for a little bit, visit, and help you out, and come home to my beautiful house.
All right. Well, listen, did you have anything else you wanted to grill me on? This is your show. No,
I got what I needed out of it. And since this is on your YouTube channel, I'm going to do this a little differently than I normally do. Normally, I record and post on my channel. All I'm going to do is link. So they can come through me to you to watch all of this in the future.
Oh, okay. And you also know you can download directly from YouTube, right?
Yeah, but I mean, why should I go through and do all that again when it's there?
All right. Hey, everybody have a great day.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
for watching.
You should see the end broadcast. Hold on.